Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester. And I'm sure you are too because you're watching content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting because I believe in a whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we're choosing, right? What I'm discussing today is the importance of knowing how to fend off attacks from all angles, right? We hear the term often dis-ease, meaning that when we have a disease in our body, it's essentially saying our body is at dis-ease, right? When we are experiencing those types of attacks on ourselves, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, it's still a disease. Even they say mental illness is still a disease, physical illness, disease, right? There's only one way that we can attack it, and that's like from all angles, right? We want to get in the habit of thinking about how do these things actually get inside of us? How does this disease get inside of me? How does it get in my mind? How does it get in my body? What are the ways in which we've allowed this foreign entity to enter our space and begin to attack us, right? And so I like to believe that there are five senses. We already know those five senses that everybody uses for, what is it? Vision, hearing, taste, smell, touch. And then the sixth sense to me is one of the most important senses. And that is your intuitive body. I'll call it that. It is the part of you that can walk in a room and feel something when it's off, or feel something when it's good, or feel something when it's kind of like something that you shouldn't be a part of, right? How many times have we watched programs or TV shows or, documentaries where there was some type of horrific attack on someone, and the person who left right before that thing happened said, it just started feeling strange. I just sensed that it was time to leave, right? It wasn't their touch, their smell, their vision, their taste, or their hearing that told them that. It was that sixth sense, that intuitive aspect of who we are that kind of tapped their shoulder and said, hey, this is not what it is. It's the same part of like animals we see in the jungle. They may not hear you, they may not smell you or see you sometimes, but they change when the feeling changes in the environment, right? And we are the same way. We get these feelings. So our thoughts are basically outputs from those particular areas. Our thoughts come through our senses, comes through our smell, our touch, our taste, our hearing, and our vision. When what we are receiving through those areas of our lives is what our thoughts are composed of, right? You get that feeling first when you shouldn't be there, and then your thoughts try to almost rationalize it out of you sometimes. And then other times we don't allow our thoughts to rationalize it out of us, and we're like, it just doesn't feel right, I'm out of here, right? So when that happens, when we're taking in these things through our vulnerable orifices, I'll say that, we have to know that's the exact way that we can attack the disease that's in our body, the dis-ease, whether it's a mental dis-ease or it's a physical dis-ease. And I like to think they work together, right? So to ward off the attack, we have to go through a process of putting positive energy in each one of those areas, right? So say it's your vision. You want to change what you're looking at. You want to change what you're taking in through your sight on a regular basis. So you got to think about, what am I looking at? What am I taking in? Say you're in an environment to where everything looks rough around the edges. Everything is hard to see the beauty in. You might want to put yourself in nature, somewhere near a beach, maybe somewhere where there's harmony in the environment. Maybe watch television programs that have beautiful backdrops or beautiful sceneries, right? So that way what we're taking in is complementing the feelings or the moods that we want to have, right? And say it's our touch, right? Our sense of touch. We want to wrap ourselves in warm clothing. We want to wrap ourselves in comfortable clothing, fabric that feels soothing to our body. This is why I like when people have these, I'm going to have this night in and kind of be to myself and take time for myself. One of the first things that I do, and I know other people do, is I think about what I'm going to wear. I wrap myself in the coziest pajamas that I have, and I get the coziest blanket that I want to get. And then I sit down and I watch the movie. I turn on all of the positive moods from all the senses, right? And one of them is definitely touch. I put myself in a comfortable space. I make sure the air conditioning or the heater is at a comfortable spot. I make sure the fabrics are comfortable and soothing. I make sure, even if it's okay, my skin is itching or something, because that happens periodically to me. I make sure I get in the shower, make sure I'm clean. All of these things enhance our mood, and they change the way that we feel about ourselves, which then impacts our thoughts. And we all know our thoughts create our lives, right? Another thing is for our taste, for what we put into our body through eating. We'll do something like nutritional foods or healthy foods or things that are good on the palate, right? And sometimes we're hitting more than one senses at a time. Like they say, eating is a several senses at a time sort of thing. So we'll taste it, and it's good to put into our systems. It's quality food. It feels different going down. It feels different once it lands inside of your body, right? And this is like from all angles. And when you have that good food and it's rich and it's wholesome and it's nutritious, it completely boosts and changes your mood, right? It wards off anything negative that was trying to be created or developed through eating habits. You're now, what is it called? You're now fighting against it by adding the positive things inside of you. So pretty foods that taste good, that feel good, foods that are soothing to your body, right? Things that don't give you like issues with lactose intolerance or heartburn or, stomach aches because there's so much sugar. You want to do things that are pleasing to you in that way, right? And that also tastes good. And another way we bring things in, say if it's through our senses, we want to put on natural oils, and we want to put incense on. And even if you're into candles, you might want to find organic candles that don't have the harmful chemicals that burn in the air. Or either like candle warmers. I use those because it doesn't burn and it just warms up the candle and it smells right. But just like adding fresh smells into your environment. I'm a huge smell person, right? And maybe the size of my nose. I always tell my daughters that, but I can smell everything all the time. So I'm always like cracking the window, making sure things are clean, making sure it's fresh and airy, because my mood is instantly lifted when I smell sweet smells, when I smell good, right? When the window's open and I can smell like a fresh rain breeze in the house. When food smells good, my mood is instantly lifted when I'm smelling things that are positive to my experience, right? The other part is like things that we're listening to. So we might want to put on like high frequency binaural beats. That's common thing that raise your frequency. Maybe some music that you love, and just be careful of anything with lyrics, because anything with lyrics is going to start pulling you in the direction of the lyrics. I was telling my daughters the other day that R&B was hardcore when I was a kid. And so like a lot of the stuff that we did that we thought was so important for love was really just kind of desperation sometimes, because R&B had a lot of desperate lyrics in it. And so you got to remember that you're being molded by the stuff that you're taking in. And if it's through your hearing, it's the same way. It's the same thing with certain types of negative music that we know eventually weighs down on our energy and our spirit. And it weighs down on our thought process. It makes us think about things that we don't want to think about, or approach people or treat people in a certain way, right? You ever notice on all the movies, whenever they're about to rob a bank or they're about to do something, they're about to go street racing and all, it's all about the music. They start playing the most toxic music possible, because that's the mode that music puts you in. So in order to combat this disease that might be in your body, then you're 24/7 playing stuff that's positive audios or frequency music that, lifts you up automatically after listening to it. Subliminals, sounds of the ocean, sounds of crickets, or whatever it is that you listen to. Anything like that I hear, eventually I start listening to these meditation bells or whatever the other day, or singing bowls, beautiful. It instantly lifts my mood. It instantly puts me in a more positive space, which then impacts my thoughts and the way that I'm approaching the world, right? When I'm listening into my car, completely changes the experience I have when I'm driving, as opposed to certain things I could be listening to. And then that sixth sense, right? That's the one, to me, that's the most important. That sixth sense, that feeling that we have when we're in a certain space that meets our standards and one that's not. It's like what people talk about when they say they're in a toxic workplace, and they can't really always point to really specific things people are doing, but the energy is bad and there's no way to clean that up, right? The energy is bad. So you have to place yourself in environments that are better. Last time I was in a toxic workspace, they had a beautiful space for going outside and walking on a trail. I must have been outside at least 75% of the day. Nobody cared. It wasn't no big day. It was just, I was like, I'll be back, because I couldn't sit in the space. The space was tight and stuffy, and it had very ugly energy in it. And in order for that not to completely get on the inside of me and start to change my mood and bring me down, I would always take trips outside and walk on that trail, because that was the best option in that particular time, right? So you want to get in places that make you feel good. And this is another thing about being around people that make you feel good and environments that make you feel good, right? If you're a person that's just like, how do you make people feel when they're around you? How do people feel when they're around you, right? That is huge, because that is what will make people want to spend time with you or visit with you or be in your space and stuff like that. It's like, what type of energy are you giving off when they're in your space, right? We go to nature for this particular reason. I mean, just the fresh air is one thing. Nature hits us on all the senses, right? Just about. The fresh air, that feeling, being in nature like that, being in a calm environment, being in an environment where there's not like bumper to bumper traffic, where there's not like horns blowing, where there's not like, people on the corner begging for money or stuff like that, or either crime happening, being in places where it's quiet, everything is settled and it's peaceful, or where you can hear the ocean, you can hear the waves crashing against the beach, right? You want to be in those types of places, because that's where the sixth sense is pulling in this information, right? So if you find yourself in a space where you have mental dis-ease or you have physical dis-ease, the best way to combat that is to hit it from all of the senses, because that is the only way information gets into our bodies. So the fact that these things are appearing in your system, it means that things have been allowed inside of you that woke up pieces of you that are not working in your favor, that woke up pieces of your mindset that's not working in your favor, right? Because the thoughts and all, they can be activated at any time. But what we want to do is activate the positive things, activate the positive moods, activate the things that are going to grow and expand our lives, right? So if you're dealing with mental disease or physical disease, start eating the right things. Start putting the right types of food in your body. Start tasting the right types of things, right? Start listening to the right types of things. Start listening to the right types of music, listening to the right types of conversations, right? Start wrapping yourself in soft, beautiful, luxurious, and comfortable clothing. Start putting yourself in physical environments that feel good to your body, which then feels good to your mind, right? Put yourself in places of comfort rather than places of discomfort physically. Also, watch, what your environment is smelling like, right? It may take a clean, it may take an overview. That's why people always like light incense and put candles on when they want to get in a certain mood, because aromatherapy is real. Start using those types of therapies in order to make your environment and your mood lift, right? Start, what is the other thing? Listening to things that are going to create a positive impact on you, that are going to create a positive feeling and mood inside of you, right? And just be sure to, I was just making sure I covered everything. And just be sure to keep in mind that all of these things are being attacked all the time. And as long as we are always on the other end of making sure that we're smelling good things, making sure that we're eating good things, making sure that we're touching good, positive, comfortable things, making sure that we're hearing good things, making sure that we are seeing, that's the other one, seeing positive things, right? Even if it has to be on your phone, even if it has to be some type of ocean scene or something you got to put on your TV screen. I used to do that. I still do that all the time, right? Even if it's opening your windows, like right now, it just started pouring down raining, right? That's one of my favorite things to do, is crack the window when it's raining like this. So just making sure that your eyes are laying on things that are pleasing to your soul and pleasing to your spirit, right? because then we can lift our mood and we can get into a better space. And if you're attacking this dis-ease that's in your body and in your mind from all angles, it's going to have a hard time to continue to grow. And of course, these things will change your mind. A lot of times the reason why we can't change the mental thoughts in the mind, the mental chatter that's going on, is because we're allowing these negative things in from different angles. We're putting bad food in our bodies, right? We're listening to nonsense. We're listening to gossip and nonsense and foolishness on TV and on the radio and all this kind of stuff, right? We are in discomfort. Sometimes we need to take a shower. My daughters know that's the number one thing that I tell them when they're in cranky moods and this and that. I just feel like blah. I was like, go get in the shower. And they never want to hear it. But they go take that shower and come out. They feel like a new person. And it's the truth. Make sure your physical body's in a good space, right? Make sure you're listening to things that are adding value to your life. Because if you're hitting that stuff from all angles, there's like no space for the nonsense to grow. Even if it's around for a little bit, that mood in your mind and that chatter is going to change because you're not bringing in anything that's going to continue the chatter, right? We have to get away from the idea of being comfortable with our struggles and being comfortable in the mindset that we're in, and knowing that the Creator gave us all the facilities that we need in order to change this thing. And He gave us these senses. And these senses are the way that we feel our environments, the way that we coexist and commingle with our environments. And so in order to radiate, in order to glow, in order to expand, in order to be the best version of yourself, you have to think about all 6 of your senses and like, how can I develop and grow and expand those today? Because if you're hitting it from all those angles, there's almost no space for the nonsense to grow. There's almost no space for the dis-ease, the mental and the physical, to continue on. Anyway, I hope that made sense for a lot of people. And I hope you all work on those aspects of yourself, because I know I'm always doing the same thing, right? And treat yourself with loving kindness that you want to be treated with by other people, and then you'll receive more of it. Anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.